Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srila Bhagavatam class from Canto, Canto 2, Chapter 5, text 26 to 29. Without further ado, we'll start the class now. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopiyana Varnava Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Stotar Satsi Shamaris Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Vishta Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Astotar Satsi Shamaris Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय इसका फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय गंगा मई की जय जमुना मई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the Lord's feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Niti Namane Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddharthani Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Niti Namane. Narayana Namaskritya Naruncheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Ujirayat Nashtaprayesva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavato Tamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2 Cosmic Manifestation Chapter 5, The Cause of All Causes, Text 26, 27, 28, and 29. Nabasota vikurvanad abud sparsha guno nila paran vayas chabhavamscha prana uja sahubalam vayo api vikurvanat kala karma swabhavata Udapadatyapi Jovai Rupavat Spasha Sabdavat Tejasas Tuvikurvanat Asid Ambo Dasatmakam Rupavat Shavach Chambo Goshavascha Paranvayat Vishishastu Vikurvanat Avasu Gandavan Abhut Paranvayad Rasa Spasha Shabda Rupa Gunanvita Nabasota Vikurvanad Abhut Spasha Gunonila Paranvayad Shabdamscha Prana Uja Sahobalam Vayo api vikurvanat kala karma swabhavata udapadyata tijovai rupavat spasha sabdavat tijasa Stuvi Kurvanat Asid Ambura Satmakam Rupavat Svasava Shambho Gosavascha Paranvayat Visheshatu Vikurvanat Ambaso Gandavan Abut Paranvanyad Rasa Spasha Shabda Rupa Gunanvita Nabasota Vikurvanat Abut Spasha Gunonila Paranvayascha Bhavamscha Prana Oja Sahobalam Vayu Api Vikurvanat Kala Kalma Svabhavata Udapadhyata Tejovai Rupavat Spasha Shabdavat Tejasastu Vikurvanat Asid Ambora Satmakam Rupavat Spashavat Shambho Gosavaschat Paran Vayat Visheshatu Vikurvanat Ambaso Gandavan Abut Paramvan Yad Rasa Spasha Shabda Rupa Gunanvita. Hare Krishna. Anyone that likes to try it, they can unmute themselves and try.
Navashota vikurvana butsparsha gunonila paran paran vakya chabdan bhavscha prana oja sahobalam vayor api vikurvana kala karma svabhavata uptapadyata tejo vai rupa vatsparsha shabdavat. Can you go down a little bit, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Tejashastu vikurvanat ashit ambora satmakam rupa vatsparsa vakchambo gosha vakcha paranvayat visheshastu vikurvanat amba shogandhavanabut paranvaya rasasparsha Shabda Rupa Gunonvita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nabhasost vikurvanat adbhuta sparsha guno nilaha paranvayat chabdavancha prana oja saho balam vayorapi vikurvanat kala karma swabhavatah udpadyate jovai rupavat sparsha shabdavat तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात् आसीदम्भोरसात्मकं रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्चम्भो घोषवश्च परान्वयात् विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात् अम्भसो गन्धवान् भूत परान्वयाद् रसस्पर्श शब्दरूपगुणान्वितः हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Okay, go ahead.
Navasota vikurvanad abhutsparsha gunonila pranavaya vayach chapthavamscha prana ojasaho balam vayorapi vikurvanat kalakarma swabhavat upadyatta tejo vai I रूपवत् स्पर्श शब्दवत् तेजस्तु विकुर्वाणाद् आसीदम्बो रसात्मकं रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्चाम्भो घोषवच्च परा परा पराण्वयात् विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणाद् अम्भसो गन्धवान् अभूत् पराण्वयाद् रसस्पर्श शब्दरूप गुणान्वित. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? All right, so we'll do word for word now. Nabasa of the sky. Ata das. Vikurvanat being transformed. Abud generated. Spasha touch. Guna quality. Anila air. Para previous. Anvayat by succession. Shabdavan, full of sound. Cha also. Prana, life. Uja, sense perception. Saha, fact. Valam, strength. Vayo, of the air. Api, also. Vikulvanat, by transformation. Kala, time. Karma, reaction of the past. Swabhavata, on the basis of nature. Udapadhyata, generated. Teja, fire. Vai, duly. Rupavat, with form. Sparsha, touch. Shabdavat, with sound also. Tejasa, of the fire. To, but. Vikulvanat, on being transformed. Asid, it so happened. Amba, water. Rasa atmakam, composed of juice. Rupavat, with form. Sparshavat, with touch. Cha, and. Ambha, water. Goshavat, with sound. Cha, and. Para, previous. Anvayat, by succession. Vishesha, variegatedness. To, but. Vikulvanat, by transformation. Ambasa, of water. Gandhavan, odorous. Abud, became. Para, previous. Anvayat, by succession. Rasa, juice. Sparsha, touch. Shabda, sound. Rupa guna anvita, qualitative. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch. And by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life. Sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, there is a manifestation of water, full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch, and is also full of sound. And water, being transformed from all variegatedness on earth, appears odorous, and as previously, becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form, respectively. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The whole process of creation is an act of gradual evolution and development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of the earth as so many trees, plants, mountains, rivers, reptiles, birds, animals, and varieties of human beings. The quality of sense perception is also evolutionary, namely generated from sound, then touch, and from touch to form. Taste and odor are also generated along with the gradual development of sky, air, fire, water, and earth. They are all mutually the cause and effect of one another, but the original cause is the Lord himself in plenary portion, as Mahavishnu lying in the causal water of the Mahatattva. As such, Lord Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as the cause of all causes. And this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 8, as follows. Aham sarvasya prabhavu mata sarvam pravartate iti matva vajantimam buddha bhava samandita. The qualities of sense perception are fully represented in the earth, and they are manifested in other elements to a lesser extent. In the sky, there is sound only, whereas in the air, there are sound and touch. In the fire, there are sound, touch, and shape. And in the water, there is taste also. along with the other perceptions, namely sound, touch, and shape. In the earth, however, there are all the above mentioned qualities with an extra development of odor also. Therefore, on the earth, there is a full display of variegatedness of life, which is originally started with the basic principle of air. The diseases of the body take place due to derangement of air within the earthly body of the living beings. Mental diseases result from special derangement of the air within the body. And as such, yogic exercise is especially beneficial to keep the air in order so that diseases of the body become almost nil by such exercises. When they are properly done, the duration of life also increases, and one can have control over death also by such practices. A perfect yogi can have command over death and quit the body at the right moment, when he is competent to transfer himself to a suitable planet. The Bhakti Yogi, however, surpasses all the yogis because by dint of his devotional service, he is promoted to the region beyond the material sky and is placed in one of the planets and in the spiritual sky by the supreme will of the Lord, the controller of everything. Oma Ganati Viranyasya Gyana Gana Shalakaya Chakshu Umbilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistan Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirveshesha Sunyavadi Pastityadi Sitarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurachise Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivachari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. English translation again. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch, and by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life. Sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, there is a manifestation of water, full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch, and it also is full of sound. And water, being transformed from all variegatedness on earth, appears odorous, and as previously, becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form respectively. Hare Krishna. So this is a description which is far more detailed than I personally have heard anywhere else about the way the material things come to be. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, is one who creates Mahatattva, the basic ingredients for the material creation. And it is also through his force that the universe has come to be when he breathes out. We cannot imagine the size of Mahavishnu, and the universe is coming out from his force. The Lord is the greatest, period. There is no one at this level, no one above him. So in this case, it's been explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The creation, beginning with sky, and that's not mentioned here, it's gone from sky to air. So previously they talked about how sky came about. And the quality that makes the sky is sound. Mm. The sky is with sound only. Now, before we even go on with this is over our pay grade. Mm. Even the scientists can't quite explain this. There's very, very little of it that they may be able to explain from what they found out. Mm. And they do a lot of assuming. So this is over their heads also. Mm. Air is generated with the quality of touch. Now, our experience with the air is full of a number of gaseous elements, and we breathe in. But with the quality of touch, that shouldn't be too surprised because the air flows everywhere. Therefore, the air is in touch with every single thing that's been generated. The air is in touch with it. Even the water, the sea, the ocean, the living entities in the ocean, they breathe air. They are in the water. They breathe air. How? Well, some of them come up to get air, true enough. They come out of the water to get air, and they can hold it for a long time under the water. There are others too that just simply take in water, and the body that they have filters out the air in the water. There is air dissolved in water. Scientists have even able to find out how much air does it dissolve in the quantity or volume of water. Hmm? And we know something about that too, because if you start boiling something, then there is boiling like water. The water changes to gas forms. But initially, before it starts boiling, you will see a few drops of it looks like it's beginning to boil, start from the bottom. That is the dissolved air, the oil that's dissolved in the water that's actually coming out before the water itself goes to a gas form, vaporizes. So there's air dissolved in water. Mm-hmm. Now, by previous accession, the air is also full of sound. Well, the one thing that we can relate to the sound in the air is thunder. Clearly, that comes we hear it above. So then that also has to do with the sky, because the sky is full of sound. Basic principles of life: sense, perception, mental power, and bodily strength. Now, one thing we need to understand is that this is all being generated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when one quality goes from, like air, and then the next thing that comes after that, like from air, then it comes to fire, then we lose it. We go, how come air form fire? But we have to understand that the generator of this, the one that makes it all happen, is the Supreme Lord himself. And everything is contained in it. So if there's an ingredient missing, or if there's some energy that needs to be created to go from one of these quality elements to the next one, and it's not mentioned here, we have to assume, and I think that would be a correct assumption, that it is generated by the Supreme Lord himself. Therefore, it is possible. He can do any and everything. So in course of time, fire is generated. Sound is there, touch is there, and now shape is also generated from fire. And fire definitely helps us in taking shape. The reason being, and again, our experience is that we can use fire to shape things. If you wanted to form a gold bar, you melt the gold, that's fire, and then from the gold, as it's liquid, you can put it into something, and then when the fire is withdrawn a little bit, then it goes back from liquid to solid, and it's got a particular shape based on the kind of dye that you used. So fire is involved. Now, from fire, there's manifestation of water. But scientists do know that water is full of what? Hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is in the air, so that's part of it. And then they say the sun also has hydrogen in it. So these two elements are there. And scientists do know very well that you have to generate hydrogen and oxygen with the fire energy. Hydrogen and oxygen will never form water, even though they are the components of water. They'll never form water unless fire is present. So the energy is needed to have. So it is not surprising here, from what little the scientists know, that fire is in fact one of the causes to make water happen. And of course, having juice and have taste, that all liquid. So water is transformed from all variegated of variegatedness on Earth. So other elements, of course, by the Supreme Personality of God, His own touch, the Earth comes to be. And that is generated from the particular universe where the Earth is part of the planets. And of course, Lord Brahma is the one that's put these things together. He's been trained by Lord Vishnu. So there is assistance from Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is being trained. And Lord Brahma is the one that is mentioned many times in the Bible as God saying this should happen and that should happen and that should happen. And then it happens. And Lord Brahma has that Shakti, has that energy. You don't call him Lord Brahma in the Bible, they just say God. And his planet is Brahmaloka. And Srila Prabhupada describes it in Srimad Bhagavatam that the different messiahs or saviors for the different religions have their root in Brahmaloka. They go to different universes, and based on what the energy is there and what the lifestyle is there, that in that particular planet, there is a particular person that is personality that is endowed with the energy to come deal with the wrongdoing and get people's minds on the right track, at the very least, to the mode of goodness. We are dealing with not only mode of goodness, but purified goodness, trying to go to purified goodness, and we're being given the process, which is the hearing and the chanting, especially of the Lord's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that's the technical part of this. And the one point that Srila Prabhupada made in the purport, the first sentence, process of creation is a gradual evolution from development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of the earth. Now, science has done some investigation into the different elements that are in the different creative aspects of the earth, of the planet. So with the aid of the fire and the water and the air and the earth, so many trees and plants and mountains and rivers and reptiles and different types of living beings have been produced. And there are 8,400,000 of these in the whole material creation, of which 900,000 species are in the water and 1.1 species, or 1,100,000 species, are plants and trees. And then 1 million of them are insects and reptiles combined. And 2 million, no, I have to start again, I'm sorry. So there are 900,000, and then 2 million trees, and then 1.1 insects, and then 1 million birds, and then 3 million types of beasts, animals, to the very small ones, and then 400,000 beings, human beings. And that's all combinations of most of them on the earth. This one, the earth and the fire and the water forming those. Then those that have subtle bodies too, and that's another story. That doesn't come directly from the earth part. They don't have the earthly type bodies. We talk about ghosts and so on. They are also from the creation. But that would be too much to get into all of that. Yeah. But the point here, Srila Prabhupada makes is they are all cause and effect of one another, one going into the other. And if there's any ingredient missing for the transformation, the Supreme Personality of God, that actually causes the transformation to happen. Mm-hmm. So it shouldn't be surprising to anyone. It's all the creation of the Lord. In many, many other places or religions, they just talk about the Lord created this. But in Bhagavatam, it always gives more detail about how that is done. For example, people make a statement, where's God? God is everywhere. Of course, they don't even know how he looks like. But that's another story. But they say he's everywhere. How is he everywhere? They don't know. It's just we believe he's everywhere. But again, you come to Bhagavatam, it describes that the world is full of atoms, and the Lord, in his expansion as the Paramatma, is present in every single atom. So to give you more detail, that the Lord is smaller than the smallest, he can be in an atom, and he is in an atom, and so he's in all the atoms, the super soul. Mm-hmm. In that way, since all the atoms are everywhere in the universe, then the Lord is everywhere in the universe, mm-hmm, being present in every single atom. So that feature of his pervades like that. And then, of course, he himself can also, that's an expansion. So the original personality can be anywhere based on his pastimes. I'm talking about Sri Krishna himself. So one important point that Sri Prabhupada brings out in the Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna explains to Arjuna, Aham Savasya Prabhavu, Mata Savam Pravartate, Iti Matva Vajantimam, Bhuda Bhava Samanvita. The first two lines talk about the Lord's position in relation to everything, in relation to existence, period. He says, I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. That is everything that there is. And he actually backs it up. He says, everything emanates from me. Everything emanates from me. Everything there is, spiritual or material, emanates from the Lord in these different expansions. In the spiritual world, that is manifested from his first plenary expansion, Lord Balaram. And then in the material world, it starts with Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. For each universe. Before that is Mahavishnu. All the universes come, which we said earlier, from his force. So we talked about the different sounds. I will not repeat this, but the sound, and then the touch, and the shape, and then the other thing, the taste, and then the odor. Those are the five things. The earth has all of them. And then, as is explained earlier, from the sky, that has a sound only. Then Srila Prabhupada talks about diseases of the body. The body has air in it. The body that we have, living beings, has air in it. Clearly, because we breathe in air. And science text tells us that our bodies take in the oxygen of the air, and then the others are given out. And the plants take in the carbon dioxide, and then they give out this. So there's some kind of combination of one giving one gas and giving out the other gas, and then the other one taking that same gas and giving the first one. That is exchanged like that. Very little that science has found out. But Lord says, everything comes from me. And Srila Prabhupada knows a lot about, not only material, but metaphysical things too. And so he just says that, talks about one thing, diseases of the body. And I have experience of this, which I'll share a little bit later. Diseases of the body, it comes about because of the derangement. That is, the way the airs of the body, the chakras and the airs are put together in the body, when there is disruption, then the disease takes place. Of course, with the help of the germs too, that also can happen. The germs are always in the body because we breathe them in. But a person who knows how to metaphysically rearrange the air system, have them in order, can in fact get the person to be back in health again from sickness. Now, when I was little in Ghana, there was a place that my mother would take me to. Actually, my whole family. And there was one woman who had the power of putting her hand, and the hand felt like warm because he touched me on the forehead. And then he'll take some press and he press on your head, press on your head, and it gets into a different type of I don't know what to describe, but obviously he just says some very some prayers, and then some people who are even very, very sick, they will go to where she lives, and then there's a place for them to be cared for nicely, physically and everything. But then you keep praying, and after a while, they may be there a week or so, and then they're fine, then they go home. No hospital. So we're talking about inside, internal. When somebody just hurt themselves by, that you can easily treat that physical by the skin gets, get injured like that. But internally, she could actually reset the air in the proper place and get the person to be healed. I mean, again, from the sickness. And Srila Prabhupada has been saying that can actually increase the duration of life. Now, that is also something to discuss a little bit about. The duration of life can be increased. Yes, that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. It. The duration of life can be increased. The time it takes for a person to be on the earth can be increased. What doesn't get increased is the number of breaths. That doesn't increase. You have a set number of breaths, and if you breathe your last life, you're leaving. The soul will leave the body. By the adjustment that's made, yes, that can increase the duration of life. Those in the Himalayas, they go through meditations, deliberately slowing down the breathing process. And so when they slow down the breathing process, within a minute or so, let's just take that time so it's simpler. They may breathe far less than those of us who are not meditating, like they are doing, would breathe. Therefore, we have breathed more. Say if a person breathes 5 times more in that period of time, or let's just say 20 times more in that period of time than somebody who is meditating. Somebody may breathe who is meditating only 4 times, in and out, cycle 4 times, and we may have breathed about 20 times then. Well, clearly, those of us that breathe like that, we will leave a body earlier, sooner than the person who is actually breathing more slowly. So even the breathing process alone can in fact cause this difference in the time in which the person lives, and therefore the duration of life. That's why Srila Prabhupada put it that way. Now, for us, after going through all of that, for us, bhakti yogis, those of us practicing devotional service, we don't go through very, very sophisticated processes like the yogis can do. They will have control over their breathing. How many times they want to breathe and extend their lives. They also have good idea about the arrangement of the sun, this position, and different things in the different higher planets. They know all of that, and therefore, if they want to leave, they can block the airs and take the life air up all the way up to the past the forehead to the top of the skull like that, and then come out at a particular time, so that they'll be able to gain entrance to the planet that they want to go to, the heavenly planet. And that happens especially in a situation where Lord Brahma is going to sleep. When Lord Brahma goes to sleep at night, his night, then the planets from the top four higher planets, heavenly planets, they stay. Everything below that gets destroyed. Those planets are Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and then Brahma's own Loka, Satyaloka, or also called Brahmaloka. When Lord Brahma goes to sleep, those four planets are not destroyed. Therefore, if a yogi is in any of the other planets that would be destroyed, and he decides he doesn't want to leave yet, he can, in fact, use this process to transfer himself to any of the four planets that stay when Lord Brahma is sleeping. I hope that is clear. Lord Brahma sleeps, there are four planets that don't get destroyed, including his own planet. And then everything else, Swagaloka, Bhuvaloka, Bhuloka, which is where we are now, and all of the heavenly planets, the hellish planetary systems, the lower planetary systems, they all get destroyed when Lord Brahma is sleeping. So these are all technical things and some greater details about how things have been put together in the material world. Now, the Bhakti Yogi, what Srila Prabhupada is training us to become, to involve in Bhakti Yoga. We don't go through any determination of which planet I want to go to, which time, how many breaths, and what time I should get out, and so on, and what is the constellation of the sun, and so on, before I leave. None of that. Just by doing devotional service, Krishna takes care of our situation by promoting us to the region beyond the material sky, even those places that the yogis want to go to in the heavenly planets, be way beyond all of that. And we get put in a Vaikuntha planet, a spiritual planet. And Srila Prabhupada is particularly guiding us and preparing us to go to one special planet, which is called Golok Vrindavan. It is the farthermost planet, it is the biggest planet, and is the planet with the greatest type of variety of relationship between the living entities and the Lord. The best of the best is what we're being asked to prepare to go. So this is extreme mercy on the part of Krishna to allow his pure devotee to come to prepare us like that. Not only that, his own mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, because he loves devotees, he loves everybody, but especially those who turn to him, devotees. He has also made special requests for a Vaishnav responsibility of chanting 64 rounds of japa to be reduced to 16 rounds, to only 1/4 of it as the minimum that we have to do. And this is why everybody, we first say you have to chant, because this is how you connect past just pure, past material goodness to pure goodness. By chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By hearing, you get to understand more about how things are put together. And now we will spend more time talking about the material planets and how the different elements came to be. But one thing that Srila Prabhupada has made clear, that even if a person is completely illiterate, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures would be revealed to him simply because he's engaged in devotional service. Why? The reason is that the conclusion of all that, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures, the conclusion is that a person should be wholeheartedly fixed in devotional service to Krishna. That is the conclusion. And therefore, if a person does not know how to read scriptures, but they have put their hearts into serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotion, when they say serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it also means serving his parts and parcels, the devotees, especially the devotees, being kind to everyone, every living entity, but especially the devotees who are, they've turned their attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in service. They are also serving. So that is the conclusion from the scriptures. So when a person who is illiterate is doing what the conclusion is, then they basically, it's assumed they've understood what the scriptures are about. Because if they ever got educated, the illiterate person got educated, they'll still come to the conclusion you have to do devotional service. The other part of it is if you're not doing devotional service, or if you're reluctant to do devotional service, then you are just a self-saboteur. Saboteur. You're killing your own self. You're killing your soul. This is the way out, to do devotional service. And we have to do it in full faith of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master. And having that full faith that Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we also have full faith in the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master. Then the whole point about the Vedic literatures and what they mean deeply, that gets revealed. And we call it realization. People get that all the time. And those who get realizations in different ways, they are able to have some analogies just like that. And there's innumerable instances of analogies that can be made. But that is given by the special mercy of Guru and Gauranga, so the person is able to explain like that. Sometimes a person's own background in different places that they've been, they can explain some things. So aham sarvasya bhava matas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajantimam buddha sarvam samamvita. Aham sarvasya bhava mata sarvam pravartate. Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and everything emanates from him. That's what he says. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and everything emanates from me. Then, iti matva bhajanti mam. Buddha Baba Samamvita. Buddha, the learned. They worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They engage in devotional service, and they do that with all their hearts. So learned scholars understand that Krishna is the source of everything. And sometimes you say, but we've heard this, and we've heard this, and we've heard this over and over. Why would we repeat that Krishna is the source of everything? Very simple answer. There's a reason why companies advertise as much as they do. I thought they've talked about one particular product. We've seen the product, then you see it advertised again over and over and over and over again. The more that the subconscious picks up on that statement, the more our faith gets solidified. We want to be in a situation of firm faith and firm conviction. It comes from hearing over and over and over again what is the fact. So Vedic literatures all agree that Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods come from Krishna. Krishna is the source of all of them. All the big demigods you heard about. Krishna is the one who instructed Vedic knowledge to Brahma. So many aspects of many parts in the Vedas, this point is made. Brahmanyo Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, Krishna, is a supreme personality. Narayan Paro Devas, Narayan is a supreme personality, and from him Brahma was born, and from whom Shiva was born. So in many parts of the Vedas, it's said in Sanskrit the same statement. He's called most efficient because it says everything is born of him, of Krishna. Krishna is saying himself, because everything is born of me, I'm the original source. And everything is under me. And no one is at my level. And no one is over me, the supreme controller. No one but Krishna. So one who understands Krishna in that way from the bona fide spiritual master, who also refers to the Vedic literature to make the point, engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. And that's our conclusion. That's where we need to get to. We should understand Krishna from the Guru, the Shiksha Guru. Initiation is for getting an opportunity to go back to the spiritual world. But instruction that comes from all gurus and those who are trained by gurus also, just like we're doing now. Hmm? So we have to engage all our energy in serving Krishna. Don't offend anyone. That is one of the ways we can sabotage our efforts. All our efforts will be in vain. We can't go back to the spiritual world if we make other people disturbed. So anytime in our conversation somebody gets disturbed because of us, we have to pull away immediately. Pull away immediately. Mm-hmm. There were some things, I don't know whether you noticed it yesterday, Chanamaya Swami was on. I'll say that the last thing, and then we'll go on to our discussion. Things that were happening was seemingly at the material level, but actually there was so much to learn from it. And by the Lord's grace, some things kicked in my own mind to handle the situation carefully. The Guru is a representative of Krishna, the representative of Krishna. And therefore, dealing with Guru is the same as how we're going to deal with when Krishna is personally present in front of us. Guru is practice for dealing with Krishna. Now, if some things are done and some things happen, and Janamaya Swami, part of the time he was kind of frustrated because we weren't getting good reception. And then he made a statement thinking that it was from my end here, the what you call it, the electronics here to get the Zoom feature on. And that's the point that I wanted to make. So based on the information he heard from where he was, he concluded that the fault has to come from our end here. Now, I knew that the fault was not. But what do? You get in an argument with Guru? That would be the, the most unfortunate thing to do. He had gotten the information from the person who was handling the electronics from his end, where he was at. And so he related and said, basically, do you have to fix yours here? But I knew that the problem was not coming from here. Did I tell him the problem was not coming from here? No. The statement we made is that electronics does happen like that, and sometimes these things are not perfect. And left it like that. You don't go opposing. That's the wrong thing. Would you oppose Krishna? Well, then if you won't, then why would you oppose a representative of Krishna? So sometimes we have to be very careful when these things come to catch yourself and say, oh, the Guru is not a peer for us. You can talk something like that or go into a debate with your peer, but you don't debate Guru. You just obey him. So when he makes a statement that's a little different from what you're thinking, you have to use your head and catch yourself and not get into a back and forth with them. Because you wind up offending him. If he gets frustrated with you, that's Guru Aparat. So these are little things, but as part of our training, you have to be very careful. And that happened yesterday. So I had to hold off, even though I knew the problem was not from my end. I still had to hold off. So the reverence to Guru and all this, we want to make sure that the Guru is happy with us at all the time. And when they get frustrated, you don't go debating them at that point. Just put Krishna in place of Guru because he's a representative. What would you do then? What would you do then? So these are little things that are important. The while we're learning about how to serve, our mood also is very, very important because the mood can in fact sabotage everything that we put into service. So there's a little bit now for all of us to learn from. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the source of everything. And now in this particular set of 4 verses, it's explained in detail more so that we can be a little bit more educated about the creation. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for coming and listening, and we're all learning as we go. Hare Krishna. You can unmute yourself now if you want to add more. You want to mention some realizations or some takeaways, or you have questions to ask. Shreya Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sai, Sapam Obeisances called Shri Prabhupada. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Prabhuji, you beautifully explained about not offending anyone and what consequences it can have. Can you explain a little bit more how we can be more careful and what offending means?
So, bottom line, we talk about a rule of thumb when it comes to offenses. Don't do things to make the other person uncomfortable. Hmm? Yeah, there's another stuff in the chat too that we will talk about. Dick is talking about later. So, um, a few things to remember that would actually make you never go wrong, and that is, do not get the other person upset with you. How do you do that? There's two things. One, if you know that you're going to say some things that's going to jab at that person, it's time to hold off. Because if it jabs, the other person is going to get them upset. Hmm? The whole aim here is trying not to get anybody upset. The way we use, I mean, it's two things. One is you hold off is one. Hmm? And if you got to speak, you got to speak to the point using words that are easily digestible, for lack of a better way to put it. In other words, use mild words or state the point matter of factly, like that. Hmm? According to my understanding, especially, this is how you get away from debates. According to so and so and so and so who said this is what I know, this is what I've heard. Hmm? And so you go about it like that. So don't become the authority, but you quote an authority that has said this and that you heard it. So you're just basically sharing what you've heard. That can be one way in which you use if it goes into a debate form without offending the other person, because you're just quoting from authority. That's all. Mm. So one, try not to get anyone upset. Now, sometimes it may happen. What if you didn't know that what you're going to say was going to upset the person and you just spoke matter of factly and they got upset anyway? Learn to apologize. Learn to apologize. Why? Because the mood should be that at the end of the conversation, that person is comfortable with us still. After the whole conversation is over, that person has not become upset and now doesn't want to see us, doesn't want to be in our life space. You don't want that to happen. You do not want that to happen. You shouldn't put yourself in that situation. And if it seems like it's going to go that far because you said something and you didn't think would upset that person, but it upset them anyway, you have to learn to say, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry does not lower a person's dignity. As a matter of fact, it enhances a person's dignity. It shows that they are humble enough to want to settle a situation that could give negative energy between both of you. Mm-hmm. So we try to use mild words. One. Two, if the situation is too critical, you have to hold off and not say much. Like I was talking about my situation with Chandramali Swami, he definitely blamed me for not me, but for my end. Or the problem was that I didn't say anything to him about it. I had a response, but I was not ready to say it because if the response, my intelligence tells my response is going to upset Guru, what's the point of upsetting him? When in fact, the whole point is from electronics. We didn't make the electronics. They haven't made them perfect yet. These people that put it out and selling it. It's some use to us. We're using it right now, the Zoom program. But sometimes these things that work, the electronics part of it just goes awry. There's nothing perfect in the material world. There isn't. It's a perverted reflection of everything spiritual. Everything perfect is in the spiritual world. So you don't get so upset about these kind of things. So that way, then you put things in proper perspective, and then you deal with that situation. So the aim is try to use mild words and things that sometimes could jab on somebody. Your intelligence pricks you and tells you it's going to create negative energy. Try to hold off saying it. We'll give an example. Last point about this. It's a very good question you asked, Mataji, you asked. The snail. The snail has feelers. And he knows when to pull those feelers out and when to retract it. You have to know that. The snail, from whatever level of intelligence or mind that they have, sometimes they feel with the feelers, and sometimes the situation is coming, especially if they sense danger, they retract it immediately. So we should be like that. We know what we want to say, but when to say it and when not to say it, we should act like the snail does. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Any other questions or comments? If not, then there's one more in I'll just read what's in the chat now.
Yeah.
Dear Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, perfect class for me. I'm going through a viral situation, could relate to many things. Yeah, you're still talking about electronics and how that can happen. Nothing is perfect and nothing is going to be perfect in this material world that people make. That's not going to happen. When people we've lost even a whole spaceship costing billions of dollars, right in the air, just blew out to pieces and people down there, the astronauts got killed. This is life. On Christmas Day, there was a plane crash. This is life. So we know that we are here temporarily, only temporarily. The important thing for a human being is, where am I going next? The best place is go back to the spiritual world. So you prepare by putting your heart into service and by chanting, focus, pray for proper chanting, pray for it so that Krishna, and cry to the Lord so Krishna can help us to focus and chant strong rounds. Then we can go back. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the chat. And also, okay. So any final questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please
Hare
accept my
Krishna. Jai.
glories to Prabhupada.
Glory to Prabhupada. Jai.
All glories to the devotees on the call.
Jai.
Very actually, and this morning is like a different mindset today because some of my devotee friends got initiated. They were waiting for it for a long time. Like I have seen them hankering for it. So I was very happy, and the mood is completely different today for me. So and that's why I could relate to this class a lot. You were mentioning like all the different aspects that have been explained in Bhagavatam, in our Vedic literature, like each and every stuff that we are discovering or we are trying to invent. Those are already explained in our literatures already by Krishna, or by his representatives.
Shukadeva Goswami.
Yeah, it has already been explained to us like a manual kind of, uh, and like so uh, it's it's like we are so fortunate to have this gift, that it is very difficult. Like I have heard from so many times that the thing I am doing, or the thing devotees are doing, it is not easily like receive, or you don't get it easily. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
it's not easily relatable. Okay, yeah, good.
so like that. So the thing that we have received is very like something very auspicious. And like today morning I was talking with Anusuya Mataji. I received a gift that is very luxurious for me, I feel, and I have to take care of it a lot. And then I realized that we have to take care of our bhakti a lot. So bhakti is another luxury that we have actually, and
The privilege, great privilege, yes.
great privilege. So yeah, I mean today is I'm from the morning. It's a different mood actually for me. So thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. By the Lord's mercy, the mercy of Guru and Guranga, then the statements take effect like that, and they have very, very lasting effect on our consciousness and right to our hearts. I'm just almost like, you can consider me a mouthpiece. I just pray to Guru and Guranga, my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, and they get used, and I get used like that. So the ideas that are coming are not directly from me. It's just only it's coming through me, but it is from the source. So, as a matter of fact, after I finish, I listen to my own the lectures again to just learn from it. because the Lord actually teaches like that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. One more thing I was thinking, like, one class I was hearing, and the devotee says that Prabhupada was once asked that, the theme in Bhagavatam is repeated constantly. Like, we are talking about service, we are talking
Mm-hmm.
about this material world is not good for us, and the best place is go back to Godhead.
Mm-hmm.
Constant, like, we see this at a regular interval of time in Bhagavatam, it is expressed. Prabhupada was asked, like, why it is so. So Prabhupada replies that, yeah, like, even after so many iterations of these things, you don't understand that. That's why I have to explain it again and again, like that. So it's very important for us to attend morning Bhagavatam classes, or regularly visiting temples sometimes, or attending programs. So that was very nice point that I
Mm.
remembered while you were talking, actually. So yeah, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Very, very, very important. Yeah. I also feel that I'm glad you brought it up. Those who listen regularly are doing themselves the greatest favor. Srila Prabhupada said, chanting is the most important. Sometimes you hear they say hearing is the most important. Chanting is the most important, but he was stressing that the first thing you have to do is to hear. How would you know what is if you don't hear about it? So yeah, to coming on to hear that everybody, we are all at different levels of growth in spiritual life, but to hear always makes us grow more. We understand more things, and the more questions we ask, the better off that we are. Yeah. So in the material world, don't be surprised about things that's going to happen. Hmm? Everything that's here has a reason. Everything has a reason. Everything that's going to happen in the future also has a reason. And the craziness that's going on, what's a reminder? We are in Kali Yuga. We shouldn't expect a Satya Yuga type life in this time. It is going to be crazy. And we already told at the end of Kali Yuga that the Lord will come as Kaki Avatar and get rid of the military and the politicians. It will be so bad, there's no point trying to even teach to them. So then we are headed that way. So then we expect that things will be that way. But we also remember we're not from here. So we take a process of devotion service very seriously. Then these physical bodies will stay here. Sometimes we have to burn them. Sometimes people will be killed unexpected, suddenly. But the soul never get killed, and we go back to Godhead like that. Mm. Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, this is Dear Krishna Prabhu making another point here. Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON temples are not just buildings, they are spiritual hospitals. Yes, they treat us by the process of Sankirtan, pure Krishna Katha, good uplifting association, and prasadam. Nice summary of everything that happens in the temples. The only thing I'll add to it is they are also spiritual embassies. They're spiritual embassies because the business there is 100% all Krishna consciousness, just like it is in the spiritual world. Mm. But they're definitely spiritual hospitals because we all are in different degrees of sickness. And we get treated through association, the process of chanting the holy name in congregation. And in Harrisburg, especially, it is very, very nice because it's one of the temples that practically everybody that attends the Sunday program dances. Mm. That's Lord Chaitanya's program. Sing Hare Krishna and dance. And it makes us feel good. And then we have prasadam, which again, to a level by the Lord's mercy, Nitai Gaur Chandra, very nice prasadam we've been getting. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the comment in the chat. Any last comment? If not, we'd like to thank all of you for coming on today. We found out how detailed things are by even the creation, by the way. Srimad Bhagavatam is describing, Shukadeva Goswami is describing it. And so you have, today is the Friday is the weekend, so we hope some of you, if not all of you, would be at the temple on Sunday with the Sunday program. But have a nice, wonderful Krishna conscious day in the meantime. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhivya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Glory to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.